Good evening, all. Hope you're all keeping well. It's that time of the week again. Welcome to round 3 of the CXR Porsche Cup. And tonight we are at Imola. Tonight, as usual, I have my fellow cohorts, Phil and Ruben. Good evening, guys. Hope you're well.
Good evening, Mark.
Evening, Mark. Evening, Ruben.
Oh, good. Good evening, Phil.
Right, so Imola. It's a great track. It's proved very good the last couple of seasons from recollection. Be interested to see how the circuit is with these cars, with all the bumps and humps and undulations, etc. Having a look at the practice times earlier on, Chris Shorter probably comes as no surprise. You'll see his name in a minute on the classifications. He topped the practice session with a 1:45. The top 15 were only split by seconds, so it'll be interesting to see what quali brings, which is underway as we speak. And we'll flick to that shortly. So, standings. We do the amateurs first, I presume? No, we're doing the pros. Okay, the other way around. That's fine. So, Chris Shorter, as I mentioned earlier, is currently leading with 40 points. He was leading from start to finish, well, from the first lap last week, but ran out of fuel on the last lap, so pushed him down a couple of places. So he had to do last-minute pit. Matthew Hodges is currently sitting second, who took the win in the end last week on 27 points, and Jamie Malema is third on 24, and Pascal Tigala fourth on 20, and Dominic Yaveza, who had a good race last week, he's currently on 19 points in fifth position. So
let's switch over to the AMS.
Yeah, let's have a look at the AMS. So Dennis Meisner's having an absolute blinding season, 2 wins out of 2, and he's finished very high as well overall in the first race. Well, he's had 2 solid results actually inside the top, I think it's top 6 or so. Currently leading the way on the amateurs with 50 points. René Borsche is second on 26. Martin Postema is third on 22. Esley Vivas is fourth on 19, and Stuart Winers is fifth on 16 points. So plenty to play for tonight. Points in both classes, and then we're doing an overall as well. So
should we? Yeah, we'll take it's a good point. We'll take a look at the overall standings as well, just because. Yeah, as you say, there are a few cars that are a little bit mixed up. Dennis Meisner there. Wow.
Yeah, so Dennis Meisner, as I mentioned earlier, he's actually second overall, which is fantastic. Just for those of you who don't understand the colour scheme, the bluey purpley colour, let's play blue for the sake of argument, they're the pro drivers, and the yellows are the amateur drivers. So you can see top 10, there's only 2 amateurs currently in there. So yeah, it just goes to show what good racing Dennis has had last couple of weeks. So it's going to be an interesting one today. I think it's going to be tight.
Yeah, and I think they're all hoping that there won't be a safety car this time around, because we saw that gave some issues last week with the pit stop strategies.
Yeah, the number of them were caught short, doing the old listening to crew chief and not overfilling by a lap or 2, which is probably could do, but yeah, caught a few out, like you say, Ruben, last week, shuffled the results up a little bit.
Well, it was very nice for the race though, because even we were caught out by what was happening and what was going on, but it was very nice to watch. It was a good race.
Fantastic race.
I mean, in a way, for us as viewers, it was very good. But yeah, definitely, if you're in the lead, like Shorter was with quite a substantial gap, then obviously you don't want to hear crew chief going in like, okay, you've got 1 lap remaining while you have 2 laps to go for racing. So yeah, let's wait and see what will happen. Although I do believe all was caused just because of the safety car and the software that some people were using, not really catching up with it.
Possibly.
So it is interesting, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
Right, so where are we now then? So we're coming up to 4 minutes of qualifying out of the 15 allocated in the open session. Kieran Smart with a shiny new livery, I'm sure we'll see that shortly. He's currently leading the way with a 2 minute dead, however, it's somewhat off the pace. I was just about to say practice times for 145s, and René Porsche just put in a 147. There we go. Pinbow 145. So that's the sort of time we're likely to be looking at. Like I say, I think in practice the top 15 were only separated by a second. So on that basis, I'm guessing there's, what's my mental arithmetic like, 25-ish laps I would guess, providing there's no yellows. Mandatory pit, 45-minute sprint race, so see how that pans out. So your visor goes into second 145.98. So Chris Shorter is yet to come out, so
we're on board with him now.
Oh,
as
he's out now. Okay.
Yeah, as he goes across the line.
Didn't have his first lap down. Sorry, I didn't realise he was out. Out.
Yes.
I'm sure there'll be plenty of people going out soon. Hopefully things are getting better.
Yeah, where we see
someone taking the scenic route then. Oh, blimey, what's gone on there?
Well held there. He just lost a little bit of traction, but the sort of the shit maneuver and kept control. But I think it was Pinbow who came out of the pit and sort of took evasive action just before turn 1. I mean, people have to look at their relative. Oh, a little bit of trolling there as well from Matthew Hodges. But yeah, people need to keep be aware of or keep an eye on the relatives for once they come out of the pit, because obviously the people that are going to go for that hot lap, yeah, you don't want to hit traffic right at turn 1, because I mean, if you hit the traffic there in a bad spot, then it's pretty much lap over, qualifying over for that lap. So you have to go around for the next one and try again. But as of now, it's still relatively close. I mean, it's the top 7 within half a second again. Oh, and there we have Joe Mantis jumping into provisional pole with a 145.7. Just over a 10th quicker than Shorter. So it's interesting. Oh, and there goes Chris Shorter again. 145.4. Well, there you go.
So, on a side note, I presume we have the 3 wise men in race control. So, on that basis, that's Neil, Ed, and Aaron.
It is.
So
it is.
They will be sorting out any instances during the race, hopefully during the race, but the odd one may be reviewed after. So yeah, done a good job last week with the full course yellows on lap. Was it lap 1 or lap 2? I failed to recall. I think it was lap 1. Wasn't it?
Lap 1, yeah. There we go. Some nice webcam views again. From Maarten Postema, Karen Smart and Dennis Meisner.
Oh, we got a new one. We got René. I think that's the first time we've seen René Porsche.
That's nice.
It's René Down.
What? No, that's René Down.
Oh, is it René Down? Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
Yeah. René Porsche isn't bald yet.
I don't know. I'll take
no, but I do. Oh, a little bit of a moment there for René Down. Came in too hot. Oh, well, Kieran Smart is an off track as well. And there we see Stuart Winers.
So there's an example of what the track can do to these cars, because they're not, they get settled. We've seen it in the first 2 rounds, haven't we, where the car tends to get unsettled in some sections, and Imola is there's a lot of areas in Imola where that can happen, particularly in the last third of the track. I think halfway up where the chicane is, isn't it, as well? It tends to unsettle the car.
Yeah, I would reckon you want a little bit softer setup for this track, because you do really want to ride the curbs at the first chicane, the second chicane, that last chicane as well. But there's just some different parts of the track where you do really want to use those curves, as we've just seen David Ward do coming out of the right-hander from the first chicane. So I could imagine you want a little bit softer setup there, just to make the ride a little bit more smooth. But for us, it's guessing for what kind of setup they're using. Oh, a little bit of a lock up. And he straight away stops on a safe part of the track while Matthew Hodges goes through. And he probably will have another go. And we've got one of the team mates from Jamie Mollema, Pascal Tigelaar and René Duin in the chat as well. Angelo Lauwersen. Good evening, mate. Good to have you on stream. Who's cheering on for them. And at the moment, it's Pascal in 4th, Jamie 7th, and René Duin only about a 10th behind Jamie in 8th. So having quite a decent qualifying. But so far, Mark, from P1 to P15, only 1.5 seconds.
Yeah, a little bit off the practice pace. I suppose there's a little bit more pressure during quali, isn't there, to get it nice and clean and quick. Plenty of time though. Still 5 minutes to go.
Yeah, well, I can imagine if you were a team and you were in direct contact with a team member, then you would try to get a toe from each other on that straight. Start finish straight, because that's such a long gap, or straight away that you can have such a good toe from it. You could easily gain. You do have to keep in mind though, obviously the first chicane you don't want to brake too late or whatnot. You don't want to overshoot it, while René Porsche overshoots the second to last turn. That's a good final turn though. Let's say if he's able to gain a couple of positions, currently in 19th. Was all the way to the outside. I would have stuck to the wall and take the shortest route. We're on board with Daniel Merchant.
Should we do a flyby lap with someone?
Yeah, I think we could.
There's
We
Kim's
just-
new livery.
Well, it pops out, doesn't it?
It certainly does. It's my sort of madness colour.
Here we go.
So-
Dominikas Jovaisa.
Oh, Phil, all the cars to pick. Come on.
That's on Phil. That's commentator's curse. He
That
chose
had to
too much.
happen, didn't it? That had to happen. Right,
It had to happen.
let's go again. Let's go again, boys.
Let's try Dennis said.
Try again.
No. Let me find someone.
Oh,
Here we go.
Ashley Wavers.
Oh, here we go.
Let's see.
Currently in P2.
If he does
the
the
AMS.
same, then
There's a conspiracy.
no, he broke nice and tidy just before the 200 marker board. You don't want to take too much of those sausages on the inside, because that will damage the front splitter. I think he went in too hot there. Yeah, that's definitely off track. Ashley Wavers, who was a little bit sick today, so he's just giving in his best.
Right off now.
While Ben Hoffman from XZ Racing Team had a spin right there, as we could see.
So whilst we were having a little look on board there, David Ward has currently gone up into second place with a 145.6. Yomantis and Yovisa third and fourth, and Pascal Tigelaar fifth. Pinbao rounding out the top three rows in sixth. So looks like the vast majority of cars are actually out on track. So those in the pit will have to get a bit of a wriggle on if they want to get a out lap and a quali lap in.
Dennis Meisner, though, settles in nice on 8th position. So that's well done for now. Maarten Postema, who's not having the best of qualifying sessions, I think. I would suspect he would be a little bit further up in positions. Well, it seems like he's struggling a bit, although normally his race pace seems to be quite well. So if he's not able to improve, then we'll probably see him gain some positions during the race. Cheers, Sim Curves. Good to see you as well. And he's cheering on for Team IRNL as well as just members from iRacing Nederland. Stuart Winers jumps into 20th position with a 147.4.
So Chris Shorter and Yamantis have both gone into the pit, so that's their quali done. So the time to beat is 145.46.
Yeah, and Dennis Ward's still out on track, and he's not that far behind Chris Shorter compared to the first 2 rounds we had, Mark. So it's going to be interesting. Oh, René Down overshoots the chicane. A little bit too much throttle while the car was unsettled and spins the car around. So that will be qualifying done for René, which is unfortunate. Here we have Rutger Gerritsen going through a little bit of puff of smoke, if I saw that correctly. Currently in 17th, so let's see if he's able to improve on his lap and gain some positions on the grid. Cuts the first bit of the chicane nicely. There's a good drive out of it as well. Maarten Postema, there we go, jumps from 19th to 14th position.
So your visor is coming into the last third of the track now. Himbao is also in the last part of the track. I think they're probably realistically the only 2 still out who can threaten the current time set by Chris Shorter.
No, there we have Rutger Gerritsen coming across the line. Didn't improve on his position. And as you said, Mark, there we have 2 bikers. But first we have Himbao still coming through. What's he able to do? He does improve. He does improve, but only with only 200ths of a second.
And your visor went into the pit.
Yeah, I believe these guys are just
everyone done.
Yeah, I think that's everyone done now. I don't believe there's anyone left to still be out. So we just wait for the gridding results to come through. Get them up on screen for everybody. And one of you boys can lose your breath as normal.
Go on, Ruben.
We're good. I'm a practiced man now.
Time starts now.
We do have to wait for iRacing as usual.
Yeah, they do like to drag it on a bit at this point. It's a weird. It is a weird thing. It's once they've worked out that everybody is qualified, you would kind of think that then you were able to progress, but maybe it's all based on timings. Who knows? Who knows? Should be a good race this one. Looking forward to it. Hopefully we don't get a safety car like last week.
Right, so there we've got the qualifying results for round 3 at Imola. On pole position, it's Chris Shorter. P2, it's David Ward. P3, Arius Jomantes. P4, Dominikas Jovaisa. P5, Pascal Tigelaar. P6, Pim Bouw. P7, Jamie Mollema. P8, Dennis Meisner. P9, René Duin. P10, Dominic Verster. P11, Matthew Hodges. P12, Kieran Smart. P13 is Ashley Wavers. P14, Maarten Postema. P15, Andrew Lovesey. P16, Robin Oosting. P17, Rutger Gerritsen. P18, Ben Hofman. P19, René Borsche. P20, Stuart Winers. P21, Philip Russell. P22, Dries Kader. P23, Edward Vlucht. P24, Daniel Merchant. And in P25, it's Maurice Badenhop. And it's showing P26 as Jelle Hoogland. Although I'm not quite sure if he is driving. We'll have to wait and see. And everybody's gridding up.
So you're going to be brave and give us a prediction?
I'm not.
No. Such
We
a
never
miserable.
do. I don't like to ruin anybody's race. We've done it too many times.
Well, you're going to give one then.
Okay.
Whose race are
This
you
will
going to
come
ruin?
no surprise
Yeah.
to you, but I'm going to go for Chris Shorter because I haven't seen anyone who can get near him so far in the first 2 rounds.
All right, we've got the lights on. It's away and go. And pretty much everyone seems to have a decent start, although I do believe René Duin didn't have the best start, but still everybody close together. Let's see how turn 1 goes. Oh,
Ooh,
there were
contact
3
there.
wide. A little bit of contact there with, I think that was Jamie Mollema or Pascal. No, sorry, it was Pascal Tichelaar. And Pim Bouw dropping back as well.
Oh, Jesus, that's not a good view.
Pascal Tichelaar actually towed back to the pit. So I do believe from the contact he had that sort of damage that he wasn't able to carry on. So that will be a tow. He does have a fast repair, but unfortunately he has to wait until the tow is done. So that's a shame. That really is a shame. He had a good qualifying. But it's Chris Shorter, P1, while Joe Mendes is about 6 tenths behind, and David Ward is putting the pressure on Joe Mendes. And it's David Ward who had some good racing with Jamie Mollema in the first 2 rounds as well. And Jamie Mollema currently is in 5th position. They are a little bit further back, but I do believe that's all because of that contact right in front of him though. So let's see if Joe Vaisa and Mollema are able to close the gap to David Ward.
So a couple of drivers taking advantage of that start there is Matthew Hodges gone up 5 places into 6th and Robert Oostin. But the amateurs currently leading. As I say that, Dennis Meinzer just overtakes him. Oh, has he gone off? No.
Yeah, that was Robin Oosting going off track.
Yeah, well, contact curse for you. I was going to say he's gone up 8 places, but just gone a little bit wide there.
Oh yeah, the tires are still a little bit cold on that first lap. You do really have to settle in while we see an overtake here from David Ward on Joe Mendes. Ooh, Joe Mendes going to keep the outside. Ooh. It even looked like they were rubbing a little bit, but really nice job on the overtake there. Turn 1, David Ward up into P2. And it seems like Joe Vaisa did... Ooh. There was a little bit of too much of that sausage curb, and Joe Mendes straight away loses 2 more positions. Goes up into P5. Joe Vaisa and Mollema took the advantage of that little mistake there from Joe Mendes. And Mollema really in the gearbox from Joe Vaisa. Good battle to see. And we'll ask our producer to put up the overall intervals if possible. And there we have it. So for P3 it's now a nice 4-car battle. A little bit further down we see Pim Bouw in 9th position just behind Dennis Meisner. And Dennis Meisner is on the back of René Duin as well. And here we see Dominic Förster for Falcon Sim Racing. He's on the back of Maarten Postema. Oh, Maarten Postema loses it on the break-in. Pretty much the same mistake as Robin Oosting had a lap before.
Yep, that section is downhill, isn't it? It's always a tricky section.
Yeah, and then you lose the run on that straight as well. Look at the cars coming by now. It's René Bosche and Dries Kader. Although it still seems like Maarten had a decent drive out of that final turn. He definitely had, because he's still in front of René. And Dries. Oh, contact between Dries and René.
Oh, blimey.
Oh dear, there was, I think, there was Philip also involved as well.
Some innocent bystanders involved there, unfortunately.
To be fair though, wasn't this a copy-paste from the F1 crash we sort of saw while Daniel Merchant takes scenic route?
Hey, keep it going, come on, style points there.
Yeah.
Got to give us some style points for that.
To be honest though, he loses positions, but he keeps his car out of the wall.
That's it.
Yeah, Drieske there and René Porsche, they will have that damaged car. And Phil Russell was unfortunately that innocent bystander who got caught in that incident. Right, further up the field, it's Javisa still in third. Jamie putting pressure on while Jamantis is on the back of Jamie as well. Matthew Hodges isn't that far back as well, currently in 6th position. So it's going to be interesting. Oh, I saw that sort of slide of Jamie taking a slightly different line there, while Javisa was definitely defending the inside, but I do believe this is where you want to do it. After the end of the start-finish straight, going up into turn 1, is Jamie able to get a good draft to try and take the inside line there? Oh,
Running down, he's in the pit.
Javisa defending hard there, but good driving from both. It's a nice battle, and yeah, Matthew Hodges is definitely on the back of Jamantis now as well. So this is a very interesting battle. You can see Jamie taking different lines there as well. Oh, and he took too much there. And there you see it, front splitter damaged. As I told during the qualifying, take too much of that sausage and it's definitely not going to help. Not quite sure if that's going to affect his performance, but still, it gives a little bit of breather space for Javisa.
David Ward is starting to eat away a little bit at the front there. He has actually got the fastest lap at 1:45.73.
There another moment, by the way, Mark, for Mollema, and he lost the position to Joe Mantis.
Are they overdriving with the pressure, or?
Well, I'm not quite sure if he... Maybe he has some other damage as well from that contact with the substrate. I can't really imagine that to be the case, but still. Maybe he is overdriving it now a little bit to keep up again. Right, for P9, we have a nice battle as well between Ashley Wavers, Robin Oosting, and Lovesey, Andrew Lovesey. A good name, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a great name.
Wow, someone right in front of them lost the car. That was Matthew Hodges. No, Matthew.
Spun.
That's unfortunate.
Replay.
I do believe he just went in a little bit too hard. I saw a puff of smoke already. I think he outbroke himself.
Down here.
Well, actually, he didn't. Just taking a little bit of too much. While Pim Bao saw it.
Missed that.
Yeah. Pim Bao was looking ahead. Did a good job there.
So, currently on board with Mollema. Only 3 tenths behind, that's what 3 tenths looks like. Yeah, and that's what it's like being chased 3 tenths behind. Like Ruben said, looks like there's a bit of damage on the front there. Bonnet looks a bit wonky in the front, the splitter looks a bit wonky as well. Still got the pace though, still keeping up okay. So we'll look down the list. We've got a couple of little trains. Nothing compared to last week, unfortunately, but plenty of time for things to happen. We're 8 minutes in now, coming up to 9 minutes in fact. So it's a fifth through, 20%. Mandatory pit, I'm guessing probably lap 13, 14. We'll start seeing some stops. Ooh, who's that? Is that Mr. Lovesley in front of Dominic Forster having a little moment there?
And Dominic really going for the inside here, Mark.
Yeah, well
he's Lovesley going for the outside. Plenty of room between the two.
2 into 1, don't go.
And I think Lovesley concedes the position.
Does he? Doesn't
he? No, well, Dominic Forster still on the inside there.
Oh, hello. Is that Matthew Hodges behind by any chance?
Well, No, Lofsy isn't conceding positions, but it's now 3 wide.
He's saying, out of my way, I'm having it. So he takes Dominic Forster. He come out of nowhere.
And right behind him, it's Rutger Gerritsen as well. So this is an interesting one. 4 cars.
Dominic Forster, I think, he's just snuck ahead. Good to see. We're all of a sudden, like you say, we're in 4 cars. There was only 2 there just now.
Yeah, it started with Dominic and Lofsy just fighting for the position into turn 1, but I mean Matthew and Rutger weren't that far behind, so they were able to catch up with the 2 in front, and now it straight away becomes a 4-way battle. So unfortunately, Pascal Tichelaar retired from the race after his first lap incident. Had a good qualifying, but not taken out. That will be looked into the race control, I'd imagine. But we'll have to wait and see. Oh, Rutger Gerritsen dropped 2 positions. He's now behind Postma and Eddie Vlucht, so I'm not quite sure what happened with Rutger Gerritsen. Then again, it's SD Wavers defending his position against Robin Oosting.
Is that Postman Pat on the front of that one?
Is that what?
Was that Postman Pat on the bonnet? Am I going slightly mad, or was that Postman Pat in his black and white cat?
No, you were right, but you're still going slightly mad.
Not
but you were
this.
Right.
Is this a new one?
No, yes, that for the entire season.
I can't believe I failed to miss that for the first 2 weeks. What's that about? That's brilliant.
It's good. It's good.
Automatically start singing that song that you shouldn't sing about Postman Pat. So it's one for another day. And right, his black and white cat.
Jamie Mollema still on the back of Juventus. So despite the damage he's got in front, he's still able to keep up with the 2 in front. So it's an interesting battle for P3. While David Ward still is within that 0.6 of a second of Chris Shorter. And I do believe at some parts of the track, if you can stay within that Todo mark, it's quite easy to sort of follow through. And the question is David Ward trying to save some fuel maybe to get a lap longer than Chris Shorter? Is he going to play some strategy?
Possibly. It's hard to say, isn't it? I mean, looking at their pace, there's nothing in it. You know, just looking, their best lap is only 3 hundredths of a second apart. So they've got the pace. Is he fuel saving?
Well, you never know. You never know.
No, this is true. You know, we don't see that, but it'll unfold in the dureness of time, won't it? So currently on board, 4th position, Yomantis, who's being pursued by Mollema and Bau. Oh no, hold on, I've got my names mixed up. So Vasa being pursued by Yomantis and Mollema. Apologies there. My geography's not very good with flags, but I think, is it Lithuanians by any chance? Just being told that is, so quiz points for me there. So having a look, Dennis Meisner's having another good race in the amateur. Currently leading ahead of Esley Vivers and Robin Oosting. In a little bit split out, but those 3 are bunching up nicely for the amateurs. Top 6 are all the pros. We've got 2 Dutch, 2 Lithuanians, I'm assuming it's an Englishman, and a South African. So here is the battle for the lead. David Ward has suddenly got it down to 4/10.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be interesting, this one.
He's chopped the lead in half, literally.
And remember, it's a Vulcan Sim Academy driver.
Yep, getting his stripe.
He's not earned the yellow stripes yet, but
yeah,
doing a real good job. Oh, who's that? That's Jamie Mollema. Look at the damage on his car. Jamie Mollema has some severe damage on the left-hand side of his car. So the question is, what happened there?
Oh, the back just
he just lost it on his own. Tried to keep control, but unfortunately put the car in the wall. I think, well, he seemed to take the position from Jovesa.
So as you said before, Ruben, once you hit the green stuff, it's, pot luck where you end up.
Well, like I said, it looked like he gained control when the car was trying to sort of spin around him. I was losing the traction on the back end, but unfortunately he had that much speed that he wasn't able to keep it out of the wall. So, but another question though, how much is this damage going to affect him, and is he still able to just keep on going until his regular pit stop? Exactly, and take the fast repair, and maybe with the pace he has, try to pick up some positions again.
Yeah, looking at it, 9 laps done, or coming up to 9 laps done. So I'm guessing sort of 12, 13 laps is the majority, I suspect, will start pitting. So you could well start, like you say, if you coax it round for a lap or two, probably start of the pit window, I would have thought. Well, keep an eye on it and see if he dives into the pit.
Oh, Robin Oosting misses his brake marker for turn 1. So he's going to lose the position to Ashley Wavers. And depending on how he's going to go, he's going to lose the position to Kieran Smart as well, as he does. What about Jamie Mollema? No, Jamie is unfortunately not able to come through as well. But it seems like with the damage that Jamie has, he's still able to sort of keep up with the guys in front. But back on board with the battle for the lead of this race. Still Chris Shorter in front. Half a second in front of David Ward. And they both have a 8-second gap to Jomentis in P3. Jovisa, half second behind Jomentis. Pim Bao only just under a second behind Jovisa as well. Then a 5-second gap to Dennis Meister in P6, Ashley Wavers in P7, Kieran Smart P8, Robin Oosting P9, and Jamie Mollema rounds out the top 10.
Yeah, it's a little train, looks like between 7th and 12th. Albeit there is a little bit of a gap between two of them. So Chris Short and David Ward continuing to put consistent laps in, 145.8 and a 146 for the lap just completed. Yep, Jamie Mollema's come in, so I suspect that is the start of the pit window with damage, so he's taking the opportunity hopefully to kill 2 birds with 1 stone there, using his fast repair.
I'd imagine he will be able to. Definitely he's going to lose some positions, but I mean, looking at it, the field is relatively close to each other. It's not like there are super big gaps between all the different positions, but it is a long pit stall though. That's the thing, or pit lane, I must say. But he's coming out of the pit, P21. So let's keep an eye on his position once the other drivers will come in for their regular stop as well. Cheers for the follow. There. Am I?
So
I should have turned down the volume a little bit, didn't I?
David Ward currently just under 4/10s behind. I got a funny feeling they might pit at the same time, but
yeah, you reckon?
I don't know. I think it's nice following someone if you've got the pace, particularly, rather than.
David Ward, it seems like he is sort of in the position to try and go for that overtake, but
he's going for it.
No, I don't think so. I think David Ward is just trying to put the pressure on Shorter, maybe forcing him to make a mistake. Otherwise, I do believe he's just trying to fuel save that tiny bit. Now he's going to have a little look, but again, he's only showing himself in the mirrors. He's not really going for that overtake. So this is going to be really interesting, this one, Mark. It's really, really going to be interesting. We do still have a nice 3-car battle as well for P3 between Jovesa and Pimbao. Actually took the position from Joe Mantis. Here we see
it through.
Yeah. Oh, and here we see it. The mistake.
The scenic route.
No, there was Joe Mantis taking the scenic route and Pimbao taking the position. So, oh, and there we go. Wow, what a move there from David Ward. Took the position from Chris Shorter. That was quite a bold move, to be honest. Oh, a little bit of oversteer there coming out of the chicane for Shorter as well. He is still within that 6/7 tenths though. But let's see what Shorter is able to do now. David Ward has taken the lead for round 3 at Imola. Well, not quite. Lofsy was trying to go for the overtake there on Ashley Wavers. But I didn't think, oh, he's coming in the pit straight away. There you go. Because I was going to say, I don't think he does himself a favor when you're trying to go for that second to last turn while you have this main straight to go for as well. But it is Robin Oosting on the inside of Ashley Wavers, and Dominic Furster trying to have a little look as well.
Andrew Lovesey has gone into the pit whilst we were looking at this.
No, it's a sure ride on the back of David Ward again. So they sort of changed positions, but the fight is still going strong and continuing. There we have it. Jamie Mollema now takes the position from Lovesey, while René Borsche came into the pit as well. Oh, and again another moment there for Chris Shorter coming out of that chicane, and now he loses a lot more. Gap goes up to probably nearly to 1.5 seconds exactly. So
there we go, 1.5.
He will lose that toe as well. But it's the second time in a row that he sort of almost loses control coming out of that chicane.
Might be worth diving into the pit.
And he does. Well, and he does. So interesting, very interesting. I mean, David Ward has a clear track right in front of him. So is he able to, if he is able to push while Jovesa comes into the pit as well, Pimbao and Jomentis still carry on. But if David Ward is able to sort of push a qualifying lap out of it, then who knows what the gap will be once he comes into the pit. And Dennis Meisner is coming into the pit as well. Dominic Furster is coming into the pit. So we've got quite a few now taking their pit stop mark.
Yeah, it was around roughly when I said, so good to see. Obviously the guys currently still out in front of maybe David Ward has fuel saved enough for us to squeeze another lap or two out of this. Trying to keep an eye on, see if anyone's making any positions in the pit actually, but looks like it is as you were at the moment. So Jamie Mollema, who pitted earlier, is currently gone up to 12, but he's still 5 places down from when he started. So we have got to possibly all cars ahead of him to pit that you might be able to overtake. So is that Mr. Yevai's getting a bit excited, flashing his lights there? Stuart gives it back. So David Ward, our leader, is in the pit. I suspect Pimbao is likely to follow. He is indeed, and so is Yomantis. So Kieran's the next one, I suspect. Yeah, so I think we're getting to the fumes on the tank because they're all coming in. Wow, David Ward, that's a quick pit stop. David Ward is out. Holds third place. He's gained 2.5 seconds, roughly. Try and work out 1.5. No, it's 2 seconds. Yeah, just over 2 seconds he's gained out of that.
Well, that's still quite a lot.
Yeah, it's a great pit stop. Chris was roughly second and a half behind before he dived in, wasn't he?
Yeah, because of that mistake he made coming out of that chicane, as we saw. So
let's put the cat amongst pigeons a little bit.
But as I said, look at Jamie Mollema though.
Yeah, he's up to 6
his
for that early. Yeah, the early stop paid off.
Yeah, because he was in 10th. He was in 10th position once he came in. So I mean, currently in 6th. Quite a long way to go to Jomantes, but I mean, Jomantes and Joe Weiss are fighting for position. So who knows what happens between the two? Yeah, while we see Eddie Vlucht, I do believe, taking a position there from Philip Russell, or having a nice little battle with Philip Russell and Daniel Merchant behind the two.
Yeah, we're just looking at the clock. They're only just over halfway through the race, so there's plenty of time to close some of these gaps down. I suspect it might start bunching up as well, which would be good to see for the finale. Daniel Merchant just having a little look down, currently watching, battling for 17th with Philip Russell.
Yeah, Philip Russell unfortunately was the innocent bystander when the two cars behind him went off, similar as we saw on the F1. But he's still going strong. 17 positions and not doing that bad in the amateur category. But he has to defend hard now against Daniel Merchant. So Pimbao had a good pit stop as well, Mark.
Yeah, he did.
Because he was in between Jomantes and Joe
Weiss. He's gone up a place. He was roughly just under 2 seconds ahead of Jomantes in the pit, so it's obviously enough to get him ahead. Bearing in mind he's just extended his gap actually. He was down at 2.5 seconds. So Philip Russell's gone into the pit. I think that's his first stop. Is that right?
Well,
no, second stop. Sorry, he's stopped now.
I tell you what, Mark. Due to Jomantes and Joe Weiss fighting for position, in that last lap, Mollema took a second out of the gap he had to Joe Weiss. And with still roughly 16, 17 minutes of racing to go, is Jamie able to get close to Joe Weiss for another position?
I think so. We know historically when you're battling it out for a position, you're always going to be subconsciously slower in real terms, aren't you, than somebody's chasing the gap down.
I mean, Jamie has a good pace and he's got a clean car and he's got a clean track right in front of him as well. So here we are on board with Lovesey, who's showing a little bit of front splitter damage as well. He's behind Matthew. Matthew had that
Jamie Mollema, commentator's curse. He's just gone off and lost the position. Dennis Meisner.
Oh, did I do the commentator curse
on
Jamie?
It worked again. That check must be in the post.
On a fellow Dutchman.
Just seeing it's down at that last section, catches people out downhill. You brake a little bit too late, you do not make the corner.
Well, he isn't the first one, but he does well to keep control. Unfortunately, he did lost the position. So Dennis Meisner again in the top 6. So he's going to go for a move, Lovesey, on the inside of Matthew Hodges. Oh, Matthew Hodges has a little bit of oversteer coming out of turn 2. Nice move there from Lovesey.
Robin Houston as well has gone off track.
Oh,
Matthew Hodges as well. Yep, there we go. We see them there.
Well, looked like Matthew had a sort of
power slide round the corner. We'll just see a replay of Robin Houston, yeah.
Yeah, just putting on a little bit too much throttle.
Hit the wall as well. It's this Chris Shorter, isn't it?
It seems like people are making quite some mistakes tonight. More than we've seen in previous rounds. Maybe that's the nature of the track as well. Stuart Wine is trying to take the position there from Eddie Vlucht for P19. And I do believe Maurice Badenhop didn't put in a qualifying time. And he's still in P18. So he's doing a good job slowly picking out some positions. There we see Daniel Merchant currently has gained most positions. 8. So Daniel is having a good race on his own. Here back to the battle between the 2 Lithuanian drivers. Jomantis and Jovaisa. Oh. A little bit of blink in there from Jovaisa. Chris Shorter slowly eating away and gaining on David Ward. If it will be enough though, we're gonna have to wait until the end of the race, I'd imagine.
Yep, they've got 13 minutes left, which is roughly, what's that, 6 laps, is it? Oh. That's why I'm the stat man, Phil.
It's I think Jomantis was close on getting in slowdown there in the chicane.
Oh,
but Javaisa's really on the back of him, so I think we're gonna see some action going into turn 1.
Here he goes. Gonna have a little look down here. He is. Put himself on the inside for the first bend. Going into chicane here.
Yeah, and Jomantis didn't give him a hard time going for that move. Well, we see Pimbao roughly 4 seconds in front of Jovaisa.
Chris Shorter now is nearly 3 seconds behind. He's nibbling away slowly. Not sure
it's
if
just
he's
under
enough
3
time,
seconds. It's going to be interesting towards the end of the race. The battle for P1. Well, we see René Duin currently still in stall, 5 laps behind now, so I'm not quite sure what happened to René Duin.
Well,
so that means that we have 2 Team RNL drivers, unfortunately, out of the race so far. Well, technically he is still in, but he's in the pit.
Yeah, Chris Shorter's got a little bit of work to do. He needs to be nibbling around half a second a lap for the rest of the race. That's quite a lot to do. I think it might be a mistake by David Ward that will open the door for Chris Shorter. So here we are on board with car 69. Sorry, 169. No, sorry, hold on. We're on board with Chris Shorter. They got the same number, one's 169, one the other 169. So there's the gap ahead. So 3 seconds to catch up. He is a bit of a speck, isn't he, in the distance?
Yeah, I mean, with the rate that it was going, it was only about 2-3 tenths a lap that he gained so far. So as the clock is ticking away, he really has to drive.
Well, it certainly plays into David's hands, doesn't it? So is that the
strength of field? Yes, it is. So for the Pro category, it's 3.2k, and for the AM, it's 1.8k.
Which is pretty good, I would have said, isn't it?
Well, I do believe there's a nice battle going on for P9 as well between Kieran Smart and Ashley Wavers.
Here we go. There's Kieran's car, can't miss it. Won't lose that in the car park there. So everybody is obviously the amateur driver versus the pro driver here, and Kieran Smart.
Yeah, and I mean, since you're not sort of fighting for championship points, since you're both in a different category, it's, do you want to be under pressure for someone who's maybe that little bit quicker, or you just want to let him go because you're not really going to lose anything? While
he's still got the overall.
Oh, while in the background, I think it was Matthew Hodges we saw
Just
having a spin coming out of that chicane.
There we go, just replay of what happened there. I think he just went off track slightly through that little chicane.
Oh.
Is there contact there?
I don't think there was any contact, but it seemed like he was trying to sort of close the gap there coming into the chicane, but Lovesey was a little bit defensive.
Like went off a funny angle. Oh, he must have been sliding then.
I think Matthew just had the better drive, and we're going to see here that he's going up the inside, but it's not really going to happen. Oof.
Yeah.
Well, the question that you don't see any contact on screen, but Lovesey definitely lost a little bit of.
Lovesey's gone off again, and he's towed to the pit. Something's happened after that.
Yeah, Matthew had a little incident as well, because Ashley Wavers now is in front of Matthew.
So here's a too much curve, I think, wasn't it? Spat the car out.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure why he decided to retire to the pit, though, to be honest. But okay, he did. It is what it is. Back on board.
Your Visor and Your Mantis battling out again. They've had a little break, and now they're on the back of each other again.
Yeah, well, it seemed like Maurice Baanhoop and Dries Kader a little bit of a moment as well, and Eddie Vlucht took the position from both of them. And it's still showing Dries Kader losing a couple of positions, dropping down to 21st. And there we see Jomantis going for the inside move here, turn 1, next to Javisa. Oh, actually, Javisa keeps the position.
Seemed to break quite early there.
Yeah, for me it was looking like Jomantis was going to take that position, but I was wrong.
Are they in the same team?
No, they are not.
So, well, it's a small world, so maybe they do know each other. So just having a quick look, Chris Shorter did manage to get just under 2.5 seconds earlier in the lap, but he's back up to sort of 2.7, 2.8 at the moment. So I don't think he's going to be able to close the gap with 6 minutes left.
Oh, I think René Borsche lost control of his car right in front of Maurice Baanhoop. Ooh. And again, losing it coming out of that second to last turn, where we've seen more people struggling tonight, while Maurice Badenop, due to some damage, comes into the pit. Right, so we're close to the final. We're close to the final 5 minutes here. I'd imagine we're gonna have to have another look for driver of the day.
How exciting! Which is only available on Twitch, I might add. So Yomantis again coming to have another little look. We'll run through the driver of the day. It's quite self-explanatory once you know. We're watching the battle here between 4th and 5th. It's very tight. Could well be what we watch for the next few minutes here, looking at the rest of the intervals. So driver of the day, whilst we're watching this battle, there is a number followed by a name. And in the chat in Twitch, just punch in the number of the driver you wish to vote for. So if you're looking for some inspiration, positionally so far in the race, Edvard Vloot and Daniel Merchant, who are currently in 16th and 17th, have both progressed 7 places from their qualifying start. Ben Hoffman in 5th. Ben Hoffman in 13th has gone up 5. Alternatively, David Ward's had a good race there, timed his pit stop to perfection, and Pim Bauer's gone past Chris Shorter as we're speaking. Yeah, I think he's had a bit of an incident, but he's still running. Oh, he's in trouble. And, Dominic Yavaza is gone, yeah, as we just see a replay of it.
Well, that's the crash from Chris Shorter, but again, it's coming out of that final chicane where he seemed to be struggling for quite some time now. Yeah, exactly. Puts Pim Bauer in second, and now Chris Shorter is under pressure from Gervais as well as Jomantis in these final minutes of the race.
So Pim Bauer also, didn't he have at the start have a little issue where he lost a few places? So he's gone up 4, currently sitting in second.
Yeah, I think he went straight on here in turn 1.
So now the 2-way battle's become a 3-way battle for the last podium spot.
Well, I think Gervais is gonna have a little look on the inside. He's not. But Shorter is under pressure. Current championship leader for the pro standings. And Maurice Badenop, who came into the pit earlier due to some damage, unfortunately is in the pit again due to a crash. And Ben Hoffman came in as well. And he is coming out of the pit, but lost the position to Rutger Gertsen. But this is a very interesting battle. But to be fair though, we also have quite an interesting battle between Dominic Furster and Jamie Mollema. And here we are on board with Stuart Wyness and Daniel Merchant. But here we have it. The battle for P7. So, despite his little off track from Jamie, he's caught up with Dominic.
Looks like I'm going to be bang on the money with the laps then. Starting at lap 25. David Ward has a comfortable 10.5 second lead ahead of Pim Bauer. So the battle, which we'll probably see out to the line, is going to be Chris Shorter, Dominikas Yavaza and Aritis Yomantis. What do you do if you're Yomantis? Because it looks like Chris is starting to pull away a little bit whilst these two are battling. Might well live to see another day, so to speak.
Oh, well. Gervais took a little bit too much speed coming into that second chicane. Some good racing between the two though. And where Jamie Mollema was relatively close to Dominic Furster, He now dropped time again. He's about 2 seconds behind. And it's Kieran Smart actually now right on the back of Jamie Mollema as well. So that's something to keep an eye on once we're going to the end of this lap.
Yeah, Mantis really looking to try and find a way past. He's looking left, looking right.
And there we have it. Jamie Mollema lost the position to Kieran Smart.
Daniel Merchant also just overtaken Stuart Winers to go up into 16th, and as I say that, Stuart has battled back. Oh, Daniel Merchant's all of a sudden got off track. That's not good. No. Oh, going mad down here. I'm not sure what's going on. There we are. We can see it. Some damage on the front of Stuart's car there. Someone's back front. Daniel Merchant, he's spun.
And it's David Ward taking away the win for tonight at Imola.
You just see a replay of him crossing the line there. That would have been quite heartbreaking if he lost that and hit the Armco.
Pimbao finishing in second. Chris Shorter still comes home in third. And Joe Vaisa stays in front of Jomantis. Only 0.08 of a second in between coming across the line. Dennis Meisner in 6th highest amateur. So he wins in this amateur category. Well done, Dennis. Forster, Smarter, and Weavers finished. Matthew Watchers coming across the line as well as Robin Oosting and Jamie Mollema. What happened to Jamie Mollema though? He fell down to P12. Maarten Postma, well done. 13th position, happy with. Lovely to see him go. Yeah, well, good race. Good race for Maarten. Well done. To be honest though, he is really a positive guy. He's really nice to talk to, so well done by Maarten.
But I suppose you better have a quick vote there, Ruben, on driver of the day before Chris.
Well, I've already put my vote up. But I'm wondering about Jamie Mollema as we see the other cars finishing in as well. Ben Hoffman now going slowly. Is he low on fuel? And was that the same case for Jamie Mollema? Because Jamie Mollema was in 8th position, but he fell down to P12. So this is, yeah, well, definitely a crazy end to quite an eventful race, so to say.
Let's get the results up on screen. We'll do the overall. No, we won't do the overall. We'll do the AM first, sorry.
Okay, so race results for the amateurs. Dennis Meisner making it 3 out of 3. Ahead of SD Vivers in second. Robin Oostin third. Maarten Postma, who's very happy with his finish, as you saw, in fourth. Rugata Gerritsen. Oh, I'm getting the short straw here. Gerritsen in 5th, Vlucht in 6th, Kadir in 7th, Winers 8th, Merchant 9th, Porsche in 10th, Russell 11th, and Badenhop in 12th. And then on to the pros. David Wall taking his first victory of the season. Comfortable winner in the end for Vulcan Sim Racing. Ahead of Pim Bao, who will be very happy with his second place after a Chris Shorter error, who finishes third. Joveza and Yomantis 4th and 5th, battling for most of the race for position. Dominic Forster finishing in 6th, Kieran Smart 7th, Matthew Hodges 8th, Jamie Mollema had an issue at the end there, finishing 9th, Ben Hoffman 10th, Andrew Lovesey in 11th, Rene Down in 12th, Pascal Tigalar in 13th, and Jelle Peter Hoogland, I don't think actually started, but he's shown as 14th. So overall, quickly running through: David Ward, Pim Bao, Chris Shorter, Dominic Joveza, Arichus Jumantis, Dennis Meisner, Dominic Forster, Kieran Smart, Esley Vivers, and Matthew Hodges rounding out of the top 10. Robin Oostin 11th, Jamie Mollema in 12th, Maarten Postma 13th. Gerritsen in 14th, Vlucht in 15th, Kadir 16th, Winers 17th, Hoffman 18th, Merchant 19th, Rene Porsche in 20th, Russell 21st, Badenhop 22nd, Lovesey 23rd, Down 24th, Tigler 25th, And that rounds out the overalls.
Yeah, I'm just going to update the points, and then hopefully we can get the updated points on the screen for everybody. So there we have it. So there's the pros.
So Chris Shorter still ahead by 15 points ahead of David Ward. Matthew Hodges and Dominic Jovizer both tied in third on 31 points. Amateurs, what have we got on there? Dennis Meisner, 3 out of 3, 75 points. Thank you very much. Leslie Vivers currently holds on to second with 37, and Marty Postman now goes up into third on 34. Robin Houston on 30 points in fourth, and Rene Bourchet is currently in fifth on 27. It's quite tight for that little bit. I think Dennis Meisner at this rate is going to romp the amateurs.
Yeah, he's looking that way at the moment. I see he's just joined in chat, giving it a bit of a hell yeah. I'm not surprised actually. winning 3 races in a row is very impressive. So congratulations to Dennis there. Sublime stuff. Next week we are at Montreal. We are at Montreal, aren't we? Let me just see if I can bring that up. Yeah, we are at Montreal.
Gilles Villeneuve, round 4.
Round 4. So that should be good. I'm looking forward to the last chicane. Is anyone going to meet that wall of champions?
The wall of death.
Yeah. So that is that is one to look forward to. Great racing tonight though. A few people making a few mistakes, but I mean I think that's to be expected at a circuit like Imola. It's very up and down. There's lots of sausage curbs.
Yeah, it's a tough track, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a very it's not like your Silverstone or your Hockenheim that we've already been to, where it's very flat. There's no up and down, so a bit of a mix. Next week we're going back to the flatness, semi-flatness of circuit Gilles Villeneuve. The first sector's not actually as flat, but that should be good. Some walls to look out for. So another one. And Dennis ended up with 1x at the end. That's quite impressive as well. I think I probably would have got a drive through myself on this race.
Well, it definitely was more eventful than the first 2 rounds. But as you said, I think that's to be expected from Imola. And I think we can look forward to Circuit Gilles Villeneuve next week.
We sure
Good
can.
Stuff.
Yeah.
So
cheers.
The big question is driver of the day. That's what everyone's here for.
Driver of the day.
I can see that already. David Ward, by the looks of it, with a mammoth 54%.
It was six votes, 54% or 54.5% of all the votes. So congratulations there to David, and for the win as well. Amazing driver, really good overtake that he did earlier on in the race to take. To go into P1. So congratulations to David. Really well driven. Cheers to everyone for watching. Cheers to Race Control, and cheers to you guys for the commentary as always. And we will catch you next week for some more awesome action at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Cheers, guys. Bye bye.
Cheers, Phil. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Take care.